And away we go. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Night Live. Hi, Johnny Hellcat. It's you and me right now, buddy. Hopefully we'll get some more people in here. Tweet this out. Let's go. Hey, so we're back on the show today, and gosh darn it, I'm so tired of this nonsense with the Covington kids. But that's what I am going to start with, because I'm going back to the format that I started to try out last week, but I got to start with the Covington kids because, as you may know, much of the news media is walking back the nonsense that they put out. Frankly, everything that you initially heard about this story was pretty much a lie. And like I said, I'm probably going to work on a video about that. The story that Nathan Phillips told on CNN was almost a complete lie. By the way, I do have my reparations coffee, and I am ready to go. And by the way, you're on Morning Night Live with Dawg Knight, and I'm very happy that you are here. So, this morning, well, over the last 2 days, we've been getting some mea culpas from many people on Twitter. A lot of big names. Jake Tapper said he jumped the gun. Jamie Lee Curtis. Several other celebrities and blue check marks and all these jackasses who jumped the gun on this story are, they are retracting their story. But there's plenty who are not. And I got in an argument with a friend of mine on Facebook who's a very good friend of mine, but she's very, she's super anti-Trump. And this story, that's all this story is about. You know, the whole story is about the kids wearing red hats. And so I found this story on Slate this morning when I was kind of prepping to do this. And so let's go through this story, because I'm trying to not be pissed off about it, but it's going to be easy to be. And Slate is a very pretty far left publication. I mean, if you're familiar with Slate. But here is the story. And it goes, the MAGA teens aren't innocent victims. The innocent incident at Lincoln Memorial was more complicated than it initially seemed, but the new footage does not exonerate the kids in the red hats. So, and this article to me is indicative of the real problem with this original story. So let's just go through this, because it's going to annoy you maybe as much as it's going to annoy me. A viral video that seemed to show a white teenager in a MAGA hat harassing a Native American elder near the Lincoln Memorial turns out to have captured a more complicated conflict. The clip, which drew widespread condemnation over the holiday weekend, appeared to depict a then unidentified teenager silently leering in the face of a Native American man who was beating a traditional drum. The teenager was surrounded by dozens of rowdy peers from the all-male Covington Catholic High School in Kentucky who were in town to attend the anti-abortion March for Life. Interesting. Now you notice, and I don't care because different outlets depict this in different ways. If you ask the March for Life people, they will describe it as pro-life. And if you ask the people who support abortion, they will call them anti-abortion. Now, most media outlets tend to have style books that say you either say pro-choice or pro-life, because it removes a bias of saying something's anti-something. There's a negative context to that. This is an interesting style point there. Anyway, the man was participating in the annual Indigenous Peoples March the same day. In a post I wrote on Saturday, this is the author, her name is Ruth Graham. In a post I wrote on Saturday, I described the boy's serene, smug facial expressions as both punchable and untouchable. Lovely. You're describing a child who's punchable. Remember the Parkland kids when you couldn't say a mean thing about them on Twitter, you would get banned or timed out or whatever? But yet these children, 14 to 16 years old, are punchable. Fuck you, bitch. Anyway, did I say that out loud? I think I did. Hey, Alan Sawyer, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Okay, so anyway, in the days that followed, new accounts, new angles of the confrontation began to emerge. Nathan Phillips, the Omaha elder and Vietnam War veteran, I'm going to talk about that in a second too. We're going to talk about that. Vietnam War, seen in the clip, gave interviews in which he said he approached the teenagers, not the other way around. Yeah, it's not that he said that. The video evidence proved that. That's how people saw it. It wasn't, and everyone else was saying that. Well, anyway, let's go on. Because the original CNN article did not say anything about that, but it happened in his interview that he said that. So there was already a discrepancy from the initial story, and everyone was calling bullshit right from the beginning. Anyway, where was he at? Which he said he approached the teenagers, not the other way around, in order to defuse tension between them and some noisy and vulgar street preachers nearby. Oh, but it wasn't reported that way. It was reported as the MAGA kids harassing some black activists who were doing Bible teachings and educating people about oppression. That was a lie. There's so many lies that this started out as, and people are still doubling down on many of them. Longer videos emerged to show the street preachers who belong to a fringe religious group called the Black Hebrew Israelites, who I call Black Westboro because they're just as bad as Westboro Baptist Church. That the Southern Poverty Law Center, once described as obsessed with hatred for whites and Jews, shouting insults at both the boys and the native group. Meanwhile, no footage has emerged that shows the teens shouting, "Build the wall," as Phillips and other witnesses have said they did. And on Sunday, the teenager Nick Sandman released a statement in which he identified himself and attempted to correct misinformation and outright lies, which it certainly was. Sandman said the students were shouting school spirit chants to drown out the street preachers, and that Phillips seemed to single him out for confrontation. There is video evidence of that. He described himself as having defused the situation by remaining calm. Now, he said that. He attempted to do that. He told his friends, shut up. Okay, there's video of that when the one friend was arguing with the indigenous fellow, telling him that white people need to go back to Europe. And he did stay calm. He didn't raise his hands. He didn't make any gestures. He didn't argue the man for having a drum beating 3 inches from his face. Did none of the above. That's true. Okay, so she continues. What a mess. The encounter was indisputably more complicated than it first appeared. The only reason this incident appeared complicated is because when the Washington Post put out an article and CNN put a report on it, they told you what to see in this picture. It was a still small photograph, not a photograph, but a small, very small snippet in the full timeline of this incident that they told you what to think about it. Hold that thought. More complicated than it first appeared, and new accounts certainly chip away at the straightforward narrative of a MAGA teen going out of his way to taunt a Native American demonstrator, because he did not do that. And it's video evidence don't lie. The discrepancies between initial perceptions of what happened and the facts on the ground have kicked off a predictable cycle of hand-wringing over participation in a too-hasty internet pile-on. Well, let's see. Well, here. Quote, if the Covington Catholic incident was a test, it's one I failed, end quote, said Ohio writer Julie Irwin Zimmerman. Ohio writer Julie Irwin Zimmerman wrote in The Atlantic, vowing to sit out the next outrage cycle. Quote, as I watched the longer videos, I began to see the smirking kid in a different light, end quote, and she should have. Actually, if you ask me, the so-called smirking kid. Hey, Camel, I see you there. Nice to see you. Let's see. Of course you should see him in a different light. The kids should be admired for not being complete dickheads and yelling and screaming at anybody. And I laugh because people try to make the point, well, if this were a group of black kids, they'd be in jail by now. No, if this was a group of black kids, and I say this as a black man, knowing how I deal with a lot of kids, this would be a world star moment. They'd be shouting back and telling him to get that drum out of his face and blah blah blah. And I shouldn't generalize that way, but the wrong set of kids in this situation would have made this a worse incident. And these kids admirably did not. They had fun with they thought they were dancing around to the drums, thinking someone was celebrating with them, and then they were confused, like, what's actually going on here? Nobody knew. But the native indigenous people did their thing, moved on, and no incident occurred. And then the Black Westboro guys then started yelling at him again. So really nothing happened. But let's go on. This lady, though, okay, so as the Ohio writer Zimmerman wrote, as I watched the longer videos, I began to see the smirking kid in a different light. This writer says, I still don't, or at least not completely. Most accounts, including mine, made no claim that Sandman first approached Phillips. That is a complete lie. If you found out of this on Twitter and the game of telephone was going around, everyone was saying, oh yeah, these kids went up and surrounded this guy. This guy was they made it sound like he was all by himself. And just all of a sudden, these kids come around harassing him while he's beating his drum and singing his native song of peace and harmony with the earth. That's not how these initial reports came out. Hello, Grouchy Gamer. Nice to see you. Jason Burns, Turcata, good morning. All right, let's see. So let's move on. It's worth noting that Sandman's actions were seen as aggressive by almost everyone who saw the initial video, including those most inclined to be sympathetic to him. The boys' school and the Catholic Diocese quickly issued an apology. The March for Life reposted a statement, now deleted, from its president, saying the reprehensible behavior in the video does not represent the march. Okay, before I even move on, so remember I told you to hold that thought? What was the thought that I told you to hold? What I said was, the reason everyone saw that incident in the way she is describing here is because you were told to see the incident as you're describing here. You see a picture, and the headline says, red hat wearing MAGA punk ass bitch is staring down this poor innocent Native American, beating his drum and singing songs of peace and harmony. That's what you see. You see the kids with what's supposedly a smirk, and if you watch that video, you had to stop the video in a very perfect place to get a smirk at all, because half the time he's smiling, he's moving, he's looking at the drum, looking at his friends. He tells one friend to stop arguing with the other guy, but they caught him in this very little smirk, and the headline says, in fact, let's go back. Let's find some headlines from this. Oh, I'm heated. In fact, I'm looking on here and I see Old Grouchy Gamer. I'm Old Grouchy P-Dog right now. Anyway, let's move on. You were told what to think. It's not that people looked at this picture and just knew anything about it other than there's a guy with a drum beating it and the guy's smiling in front of him. If you were never told what that picture was, you would have no idea what it was. The headlines and the articles and every news report said that this MAGA kid was harassing an old Indian or Native American indigenous Vietnam veteran. Oh, that was the other thought I told you to hold, the Vietnam veteran thing. We'll get to that in a second. All right, so she's saying, where the hell did it go? Oh, I scrolled down. Many other March for Life attendees and supporters reacted in horror and shame. This is because of what everyone saw so clearly in the initial clip and what hasn't changed with the initial information. Sandman's smirk and his failure to get out of Phillips' face. Ah! Are you kidding me? Phillips makes his way into the middle of their crowd. Goes to one boy. The kid doesn't pay attention while he's beating his drum. The next kid doesn't pay attention while he's beating his drum. They're just dancing around. But he sees the one looking at him, and he goes into Sandman's face and puts the drum 3 inches from his face, beating the drum, staring him down, chanting, trying to get a reaction, which he got none. He got no reaction. Oh, I'm heated. I'm going crazy today. Am I more animated than usual? I am. This story pisses me off. And his failure to get out of Phillips' face. I describe Sandman's expression on Saturday as the face that sneers, "What? I'm just standing here. If you flinch or cry or lash out." Or as Sandman put it in a statement, "I never interacted with this protester. I did not speak to him. I did not make any hand gestures or aggressive moves." He didn't. He was not harassing the man. The man was harassing him. And people just don't want to see that. And why? Because of that red hat. People are so obsessed with their hate for Trump that they gotta make something about him. And wait till you read it. And I'm going to prove that by reading the rest of this article. More context. There were dozens of Covington boys on the scene, meaning they vastly outnumbered both groups of antagonists. That's irrelevant. A letter sent to parents about the school's March for Life plans this year said that 213 boys attended a few years ago. Many of the teenagers in this background were clearly snickering at the chanting. No, they were dancing and chanting along. And that what they were snickering at is they're trying to figure out, why is he in our friend's face? But if you look in the pictures and you look at the video, they're smiling the whole time. There is no sign of threat to this man. All they did was watched. And then the one dude was yelling at the other guy, and they wouldn't even argue. They didn't engage. They just stood around and watched until the guys went away. That's what happened. All right. Many of these teenagers in this background are clearly snickering and chanting. Some can be seen doing the tomahawk chop, a controversial gesture that originated in sports fandom rather than native culture and is considered offensive by some. Yeah, but these are 16-year-old kids who don't know shit about the world. They're from Kentucky. Kentucky's in the ACC. Florida's in the ACC, and Florida State. Oh, that's their whole thing. Okay, someone's going to screenshot that, and I know I'm going to go to hell. Alan Sawyer, I am absolutely glad too. I love how that kid stared him straight in the eye. What else is that kid going to do? If that kid had done anything else, the kid would be arrested now. If this is a 16-year-old kid, and that dude's an adult. Anyway, going on. There is no mistaking the core dynamic of the encounter. Sandman smugly grins in Phillips' face and declines to step backward, and he's backed by dozens of boisterous teams who are jeering and mocking the much smaller group of native marchers. They're not jeering, they're not mocking, they're just dancing around, having fun as a bunch of kids. This is nonsense. Oh, just insane. None of this might have mattered, and the clip certainly would have not gone viral if Sandman and his many peers were not wearing the red Make America Great Again hats. That's the only true thing she said. That is absolutely true. If it had been a group of any other kids without those hats, nothing would have happened. It wouldn't have gone viral. The hate that people and I'm not even I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Democrat. I don't care. I voted for the sweet meteor death the last election because at that time I was never Trump. I'm slowly thinking maybe I'm changing my mind, because you know what? I don't want that other side that's lost their freaking mind to be in power. More on that some other day. I'll have to think about that one. First, he wanted to do a song for his wife and couldn't move. Now he was there on purpose to ease the two groups. Yeah, right. That thanks, Tarkata. So none of this. Anyway, so they said none of this would have mattered if they weren't wearing the "Make America Great Again" hats. React reported in 2017 that the hats had become popular souvenirs among white teenage boys visiting Washington, in part because they invite instant attention, instant discomfort, easy transgression. Citation needed. In part because they invite instant attention, instant discomfort, easy transgression. Well, that seems to be a problem of somebody else, if you ask me. The people who are instantly discomforted and who see it as a transgression. Boston Globe columnist Renee Graham wrote it last summer about seeing more than a dozen white teenage boys last summer. Seeing more than a dozen white teenage boys in MAGA hats at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Okay, was that these boys? No. Clearly, this was meant as a provocation, she wrote. I'm inclined to believe that Sandman, too, is smart enough to understand that a MAGA hat is not a symbol of peace and reconciliation, especially when the bill of the hat is inches from the nose of a Native American. Bullshit! The hat was not anywhere near the Native American man because the Native American man had his drum beating in the kid's face. Liars! I'm going crazy today. I'm going nuts. What the hell? Hey, by the way, I'm gonna put something in the. Let me do something real quick here. I'm going to put. Oh, they can't even do that anymore. You can't link tweets. Oh, this drives me insane. I hate Twitter now. I made the mistake of embed tweet view, pin to profile. Oh my God, you can't even. Maybe. Oh, I see what you can do. Twitter has changed. How high do you want to go? Get your blood pressure this morning, dude. I'm telling you. When I get done reading this article, it will be better. I guarantee it. Why do I got Yahoo results? My computer keeps changing my shit. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to. I want to start using DuckDuckGo. I don't get the fake ass reactions. All right, in the chat, I am putting a link to my Twitter. If you'd be so happy as to retweet that, that'd be great. I have 9 people watching today. Woo! I get a new person every day. I love it. If you're new here, write something in the chat so I know that you're here. Okay, that'll be cool. All right, wait. I went back to Inception. I forgot I was doing this. Okay, go back to the article. Let's finish this so I don't blow a gasket. Delhazed, what's up? All right, here we go. So let's see. The spine matter, blah blah blah. Okay, so and so she's saying, so the so Sandman 2 is smart enough to understand that the MAGA hat's not a symbol of peace and reconciliation, especially when the bill of that hat is inches from the nose of a Native American. The only reason that hat was anywhere near the Native American dude at all is because the Native American guy came up and got into his space. Screw you, lady. Another sip of my reparations coffee. I'm very happy this morning. It's very tasty. The new facts about this small encounter this weekend in Washington are important and worth clarifying, but they don't change the larger story that the media screwed up again. Nope, that's not what she's saying. The one that caused so many people to react so viscerally to the narrative first and simpler draft. A little note here. Sending to your DMs. Okay, cool. I will check that in a minute. Yeah, the narrative's first and simpler draft, because there was a narrative made about this incident that was complete bullshit from the beginning. Let's go. We shouldn't make the same mistake the president does when he confuses climate and weather. The president's not involved in this other than it happened to be on a hat. Doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure when there's incidents of kids in Obama shirts beating the fuck out of somebody that you didn't talk about the shirt. You didn't talk about it. It's not Obama's fault. And I agree with that. Oh, why she even brought Trump to this? The weather is the encounter between Sandman and Phillips, and it's the media's responsibility to describe it accurately. Once we've decided to describe it at all, and they didn't describe it accurately. The climate includes a president whose name is used as a taunt by school bullies and racist harassers who wields the rhetoric of domestic violence to cause pain and then blame those who are suffering, who delights in the teasing and threatening of his enemies, who just last week made a joke about a government massacre of Native Americans. No, he did not! Ugh! Fuck. Fucking A. It would be a mistake to let our pre-existing views to persuade us to see something in this particular video that isn't there. And yet, that's all you've done. That's all you've done, you freaking assholes. But it would also be misguided to let the complexities of the scene at the Lincoln Memorial dissuade us from telling the truth about who Trump is and exactly what he stands for. That salmon kid is not Donald Trump. Go fuck yourself. God, I'm swearing. I don't like to swear online. I don't like to swear because, for one, my son's about to graduate college. And I don't want anyone to see this video and go, hey, we're going to get that kid because of his dad. So, whatever. Just insanity. Just insanity. Just insanity. It's all frickin' bullshit. Very, very disappointing. God, this stuff drives me nuts. So here, let's take a quick peek here. I can't do that. Let's do this real quick. Oh, by the way. Oh, this is great. Thank you. Thanks, Camel. I am going to check that. But now let's go back to Nathan Phillips. And they keep describing Nathan Phillips. And I don't have an article for this. I was thinking about this myself because I was doing math. I was doing some math regarding Nathan Phillips. He has been described everywhere I watch. Now he didn't quite. He said it a little differently. He's been described as an elder in the Omaha tribe and a Vietnam War veteran, and everywhere he's been described that. And also he's been described as being 64 years old. And so I kind of had to look up a little thing and found out that he must have been born in January of 64, no, 65, 1955. He was born in 1955, and he's described as a Vietnam War veteran. Also, somewhere along the line, someone said that he was a Marine. And so I was doing the math, and I'm thinking, wait, wait a minute. The Vietnam War was maybe in its darkest hours during the mid-'60s, because it kind of started during, I can't remember if it started before Kennedy or whatever, but it escalated into Kennedy, and then they sent more troops in, and then more troops went in, and it got all bad. It was really bad from like about 1965 to 1971 when we started to pull out a little bit. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Nathan Phillips was born in 1955. Oh, I got an alarm here. That tells me I should end the stream soon, but I'm going to go a little longer than this, so forget it. Nathan Phillips was born in 1955, which means he was about 10 years old when the Vietnam War started. And he didn't turn 18. You had to be, you couldn't get drafted until you were 18. And I doubt if he volunteered, which means he turned 18 in 1973. Well, he said he was a Marine. So I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute. 1973, the Marines, the last Marine left Vietnam in 1971. And then the rest of the troops were pulled out by 1973. That's when the war officially ended. So Nathan Phillips is not a Vietnam War veteran. Now, then I had to go back and I saw the first CNN interview with him. And what's funny is he says in that interview that he was a Vietnam time veteran. Now, what the hell does that mean? A Vietnam War time veteran. So all I can think of, okay, so maybe he went in the Marines in 1973, but he would have still been in basic training when the Vietnam War ended. So, just a thought. All right, I'm going to check this out because thank you, Hey Camel. You sent me a great article, and I'm just going to check it out from USA Today. Let's put it on the screen real quick. Activist Phillips says now is not the time to meet with students at Covington Catholic. Thank you. I'm excited to read this, and I haven't even looked at this, but I'm deciding to read it because so many people are saying, "Oh, this is a teaching moment for the students. The students should go volunteer and on a native reservation or something like that." When they didn't do anything, fuck that bullshit. Anyway, let's read this article. Anyone new? Any popping in yet? Okay, I got a few people here. All right. Hang on. Now is not the time to meet with the students at Covington Catholic. By the way, this Nathan Phillips also, just another FYI. Nathan Phillips is an activist from way back. He's been around. He was at the Standing Rock protests, and he's also made many accusations in the past. I should pull some of those up, but I'm not going to do it today just for time's sake. But this is not the first time that he has made dubious claims about harassment and things like that. In fact, there have been times when he's been caught in the past being a little bit of a fabulist, and just like he is in this case. Anyway, activist Nathan Phillips says now is not the time to meet with the students at Covington Catholic. Let's read this one. Native American activist Nathan Phillips says he does not want to meet with students from Covington Catholic High School. Yeah, because they're getting death threats because of your sorry ass. Cincinnati restaurateur Jeff Ruby had invited Phillips to break bread and make amends with the students after short clips of an incident between the students and at the Park Hills All-Boy High School and Phillips at the Indigenous Peoples March in Washington, D.C. went viral. Ruby said Monday he would fly Phillips first class to have dinner with the Cov Cath students at one of his high-end restaurants. It's not the right time, Phillips told the Inquirer on Monday night. I might consider it at some point. There'd have to be certain assurances in place, give and take, and understanding. Yeah, understanding that you're a lying, you-know-whatter. Social media users interpreted, and Phillips maintains, that the students were harassing him. Wait, who said something about my blood pressure? That was you. You sent me this article. Damn it, Camel. According to Phillips, hi, Alan Sawyer. Did I already say hi to you? I might have already. According to Phillips, it's not yet time because of the statements released by Cov Cath student Nick Sandman. Oh, you mean his side of the story, which nobody bothered to ask for before they started calling him a harasser? Yup. In the viral clips, Sandman, a junior who is seen standing face-to-face with Phillips because Phillips walked up and started beating a drum 3 inches from his face. Phillips calmly beats a drum and chants a prayer. Oh. Oh, so precious. Sandman stands smiling. Here, let me make that face again. Phillips calmly beats a drum and chants a prayer. Sandman stands smiling. How much time more do I have here? About 15 minutes. Okay, wait, hang on. He, Sandman, needs to put out a different statement, said Phillips, who said he is a Vietnam veteran, which he is not. I'm disappointed with this statement. He didn't accept any responsibility. That lack of responsibility, I don't accept it. Go to hell, sir. You caused this. You're the one who caused this. You wanted your viral moment. You got it. You're full of crap, sir. Phillips said that Sandman's response has changed his mind on how he views the incident and what he hopes the outcome will be. At first, I wanted the teachers and chaperones to be reprimanded, some fired for letting this happen, Phillips said. For letting what happen? For you jumping into their crown and beating a drum in a kid's face? God, this is the word is chutzpah. It's insanity. For the students, I was against any expulsions, but now I have to revisit that. Expulsions for what? Are you kidding me? According to Phillips, the national attention he has received hasn't had much sway on him. The incident hasn't really either, but he said, but Sandman's statement has. This is our youth, he said. The Cov Cath students may be from a different culture, different race, but I'm American and they're American. This is our youth, American youth. Is this the future we got? The fact that nobody did anything to you, nobody yelled at you, nobody screamed in your face, no one beat your ass like what happened with some asshole students. Yes, that is the American. They calmly watched you, let you do your thing, and you left without incident. That's the thing. Nothing happened without incident. You guys sat there and drummed around them for about 5 or 6 minutes or whatever it was. And, oh my God. I'm working for a better future for all children, he said, but I can't work with liars and thieves. Dude, you are seriously bucking for a lawsuit. These kids, the video, let's put it this way, sir. We're going to take your statements after what happened, and we're going to take the kids' statement what happened, and then we're going to take the video and juxtapose them to the raw video, that unedited video. And there are at least half of what you said can be proven false with the video evidence. Almost everything that kid said, with one minor detail, no one knows that they asked the chaperones if they could do cheers, but everything else that kid said can be corroborated with the video evidence. Liars and thieves. Are you looking in a mirror, sir? Phillips said he was in prayer when he approached the Cov Cath students. Well, why did you approach the Cov Cath students? They were across the plaza from you. In fact, you had to go past the Black Westboro dudes to get to them. God, you flying bastard. His goal was to diffuse a volatile situation between the students and four members of the Black Hebrew Israelites. Well, if you've been watching, you'd realize there was no volatile situation. The Black Hebrew Israelites, a.k.a. Black Westboro, I always forget that, Black Westboro, was yelling at the kids. The kids were just laughing and chanting. You misread the situation. It was not volatile. The kids were laughing and having fun. The Black Westboro guys were laughing at them, and even though they were still yelling at them, there was no situation. Oh my God. He and Sandman, Sandman. Stole my narrative. Yeah, because your narrative was bullshit, Philip said. From the time I hit that first beat of the drum until I hit the last beat, I was in prayer. How the hell would he know that? Now, all of a sudden, he's the prayer guy and the passive one, which he was. You walked to him. He did not walk to you. You lied and said that you were trying to get around him, and he kept moving right in your way. No, the kid never moved from the first time you saw him, from the time you walked up to him, from the time you beat the drum, to the time you guys said your prayer, the guy you sang your song, and the time you left. The kid never moved. You could have gone around to the right of him where your friend was standing arguing with the other kid. You could have gone around to the left of him. Or you could have backed off and got the fuck out of there. So you're lying. You're lying. Ooh, I feel a video coming on, but I'm fired up. I'm fired up. He stole my narrative. Are you kidding me? From the time I hit that first beat until the last beat, I was in prayer. Aww. Now all of a sudden, he's the prayer. Philip's referring to Sandman's statement. I believe that by remaining motionless and calm, I was helping defuse the situation. I realized that everyone had cameras and that perhaps a group of adults was trying to provoke a group of teenagers into a larger conflict, which is exactly what they did. Phillips goes into the crowd. The kids part ways. He ends up in the middle of them, so that's why he was surrounded. The other Native Americans that came with him followed him, one with a drum, two others singing, and the rest of them all had their cameras going. That's exactly what they were trying to do. They were trying to provoke a response, and they didn't get the response they want, and yet they still get the volatile or the viral video of some bullshit because somebody put it to the news with one little small frame of the entire picture. Oh, man. I gotta slow down. Slow down. Slow down. The story, yeah, I hear you, Johnny. This story is gonna give me an aneurysm. My goodness. So, and he's complaining about what the kid said, that I realized everyone had cameras and perhaps a group of adults was trying to provoke a group of teenagers into a larger conflict. I said a silent prayer that the situation would not get out of hand. Phillips also took issue that Sandman refers to him and fellow marchers as Native American protesters. Oh my God. I take great offense to the term protester. We were not protesting anything, Phillips said. In fact, we were the only group with a permit to be there, and we were marching for solidarity and for being Indigenous people. We were there in prayer. We wanted to make a better America. Oh, whatever. He didn't know why you were there. They were there to wait for the bus. You didn't know why they were there. God bless America. Phillips said, on the other, the COVAS students, he said, on the other, the COCAS students were coming from a protest. The students had participated in the Rights to Life March. What does that matter? That doesn't change the incident. Whether you were there in a protest, whether you were there in a prayer, whether you were there in a vigil, whether you were there to go see Smokey and the Bandit 3 in the Dollar Theater, doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with what went on. So the kid made a mistake. He's 16-year-old. He doesn't know what the hell you're there for. He just assumed you're there for a protest. Doesn't know. Doesn't matter. That doesn't change the incident. Jesus Lord. Phillips said the argument between the students and the black Hebrew Israelites went on for hours before he was called by God to step in. That is a lie. The entire video that the Hebrew Israelites made was an hour and 45 minutes long, and these kids didn't show up till 1:10 in the video. And they were gone by the end of it. There was more video way after it, too. This incident lasted 15 minutes tops until the kids' bus came because they were told to meet at the Washington Monument. Because here's what happened. The kids got left the Right to Life March. They had time to go sightseeing. They went off in separate bunch of groups to go sightseeing, and their instructions were to meet at the Washington Monument at 4:30 or whatever time it was to wait for their bus. They came there. They got on the steps. They waited their bus. They stayed away from the black Israelites, even though they were yelling at them from about 30, 40 feet away. this little incident happened over about 10, 15 minutes long, and then all of a sudden they cheered because their bus was there and they could get the hell out of this nonsense. Listen to this statement. Phillips said the argument between the students and the black Hebrew Israelites went on for hours before he was called by God to step in. Now, whoever wrote this article should be ashamed of themselves. Melissa Reiner should be ashamed of this. This hour came out an hour ago. If she had looked at the video herself, she would know that's a lie. The students had an opportunity to not hate and put out an olive branch and say, let's sit down and pray together, he said. Instead, they responded to hate with hate. Salmon transferred that hate to me. Really? So the black Israelites, a.k.a. Black Westboro, are yelling things at these kids, screaming at them. Now, maybe has Philip not gone back and watched the tape? He should probably go watch the tape first. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. This is a lie. Responded to hate with hate? No, they responded to hate with doing something positive about their school, rather than engage these guys who are telling them that they're products of incest and products of faggots and something homosexual this. And this kid's, I'm not going to say it because even though I am probably allowed to say it being black, I'm not going to say it. Talking about their friend being the only N in the... How did they respond? They did a school cheer. They did 2 school cheers. They didn't yell at the guys. They didn't do anything. They did a couple school cheers instead of responding in a negative way that would have very easily made this situation worse. No, they did a couple school cheers. Even the black Israelites, the black Westboro, hashtag Black Westboro, they did something positive instead. That's the kind of kids they were. That's why it pisses me off. And there's a lot of people who hate Trump. I get it. And so they say, oh, this Trump hat is a symbol of hate. And yet these kids just made a fun time out of it rather than being negative. And they're getting all this hate. And they're the ones getting doxxed. And they're the ones getting death threats. And they're the ones who everyone jumped on them because of a headline that said that they were harassing this guy, when it clearly from the entire video, they didn't harass the guy. The guy came to harass them. He came to spark an incident. He put a drum in a kid's face, 3 inches from his face, and the kid didn't move, didn't react other than smile. And the kid is the bad guy. Gosh, this is insane. Phillips said, describing the interaction between the co-cath students and the black Hebrew Israelites, it was like a tornado. Really? Because we have the tape. Sir, we have the tape. You should probably watch it. I live in the plains and I've watched tornadoes come down, he said. It's very destructive. What I saw in front of me that day was destruction from a terrible storm tearing apart the fabric of my America and threatening the future of all our children. I saw racism and bigotry. Ladies and gentlemen, Nathan Phillips, Angel of Mercy. My God, is that guy full of shit? God. Oh my God. This is just terrible. It's insane. And you know what the problem is with this? The biggest problem for me is that they're gonna clearly they wrote this article This person, what is her name? Her name is, what the hell's her name? Melissa Reinert had the nerve to write this article. And it originally appeared in the Cincinnati Enquirer. Activist Nathan Phillips says now is not the time to meet with the students of Covington Catholic. Did she do any research whatsoever other than taking this guy's word for it? Because he tells lies in this story. He's full of shit. And I don't even want to disparage the guy. He's an Indian elder. He's 64 years old. Vietnam veteran. He's not a Vietnam veteran. That's just bullshit. It's embarrassing. But, you know, oh, good Lord. Camel? Can you see me right now? I know you can. Killing me, dude. But I do appreciate you sending me this article. This is brilliant. Holy God. Okay, moving on. Please, Lord, do not have anything about this trending on Twitter today. Please, Lord, do not have anything about this trending on Twitter today. We'll do a couple quick Twitter trends. Now, real quick, just a little note. I already know that something that's going to be trending on Twitter today because it happened about, I don't know, a few hours ago. Where the hell is it? Twitter, where's my little bell? So today, the U.S. Supreme Court allows transgender military ban to go into effect. It's not even trending yet, but I guarantee you, within the next couple hours, it will be the #1 topic on Twitter. The U.S. Supreme Court justices voted 5-4 in favor of allowing presidential Donald Trump's military ban on transgender people to go into effect Tuesday. Now, what that means, not that it is. Not that they ruled that it is constitutional, but allowed it to go into effect while it is being litigated. The Reuters article, I don't know if they've put an article up. No, they're saying. Okay, so Supreme Court allows Trump administration to enforce transgender military restrictions while the litigation continues. And then SCOTUS issues a stay of injunctions against Trump's transgender service ban, allowing the Trump administration to begin enforcing its ban while the case proceeds. There's just a few people in here. Justices Ginsburg, Breyer, Sotomayor, and Kagan all would have denied the stay, meaning this was a 5-4 decision. Well, that's an opinion. I don't think it's even. Let's see. Oh, here's a Bloomberg article on it. Voting 5-4 to hold a lower court decision that had blocked the administration's planned ban from taking effect. Justices Ginsburg, Breyer, Sotomayor, and Kagan dissented. Well, there you go. It's not a surprise. They're the liberal judges on the court, which is fine. They're entitled to that. The other judges said, nope, it can proceed while the litigation is going into effect. So that's going to be I guarantee that's going to be your #1 Twitter topic anytime now, is my guess, just reading from the news. What else is trending today? Conan, that's a promoted one. Chris Brown. Oh no. Chris Brown, you're an awful human being. Let's go find out what Chris Brown, detained in Paris over rape accusations, police say. Wow. Chris Brown and 2 other people arrested in Paris on allegations of aggravated rape and drug violations. A judicial source tells CNN. Chris Brown, famous for his relationship with Rihanna, where she ended up bruised and battered. This is a bad human being. I don't care what you say. He's he's extremely talented. But he's a dumb shit. I'm sorry. He's a bad man. Let's see. So, but look out here. There's already people defending him. Y'all already convicted Chris Brown. I see tons of conservatives doing it too. Conservatives should be slow to convict, given the BuzzFeed and Covington Boys incident last week. Whoa! The BuzzFeed incident. You mean where the media has egg completely on their face for getting a story wrong? And the Covington boys. Yeah. I think we've talked about that enough. There's still people dragging these Covington kids around. Although now, I know one last thing about the Covington kids. They are lawyering up, man. And all these celebrities and all these news outlets who have been calling for them to be doxxed or beaten up or saying they should be punched or whatever. Guess what? Here's the problem with you doing that. They're minors. They're all underage kids. And they're lawyering up, people. Let's watch this ride. Anyway, Chris Brown is he's the #1 topic. Oh, let's see what Chris has something to say here. Let's find out what Chris has to say.
By grass. And while we on my promo kick, let me not forget to say, go stream, download, buy Grass Ain't Greener video out. Ironic how I put a crazy video out, right? And then you got a bullshit ass story. When I'm sitting over here withering away and oh yeah, fuck Chris Brown, it's the end of the world. I don't give a fuck. I'm not running for politics. I don't give a fuck if I get personal opinion. All y'all can suck a fart out my ass for all I care. But what I do care about is y'all defacing my name as a person and my character and integrity. I am a father. I am one of the best entertainers out here without bragging and trying to say, woe is me, I don't get enough credit. And all y'all niggas know I'm your daddy.
Okay, there you go. That has nothing to do with what happened to him, but yep, Chris Brown detained in Paris over rape allegations. All right, what else is trending today? Oscar nominations. Oh, I want to say I don't care. You know, the Wakanda Forever. Black Panther is a Best Picture Oscar contender. You know, it's not even one of the best Marvel movies. Although I enjoyed Black Panther. I thought it was an interesting way that they kind of included some of the arguments in the black community ourselves into the story, and also made it an interesting superhero movie. And it's a great character and interesting. Was it a great movie? Is it an Oscar-worthy movie for Best Picture? If it had not been nominated for Best Picture, there'd probably be riots. But Best Picture, I don't know. I haven't seen enough movies that are current that, I haven't seen enough movies that are current to know what the Best Picture is. But, it's not... It's going to win a lot of things just because I'm not even going to go there. What else here? This is all about Wakanda. Lots of people. Yeah, it wasn't that great, but the 13% of the population made it a lot of damn money. I'll tell you that, and it also got a lot of money from everybody else, because it was a popular movie. The politics around this one really don't make me happy. But I did enjoy Black Panther. It was a pretty good movie. What other thing? Oh, Oscar noms. Anything else here trending? It's all, it's funny because so Twitter moments. Black Panther makes history as the first superhero film to get Best Picture. And like I said, I don't even think it was the best superhero film. I think Winter Soldier was great. I thought, well, there's a couple of them that were pretty good, the Marvel ones. I really didn't get a kick out of the DC ones, although when I was growing up, a little kid, I liked both DC and Marvel comics. But anyway, I was an X-Men guy. Anyway, Spike Lee is finally an Oscar nominee for Best Picture and Director. Wow, I could have sworn he got a Best Picture nomination for Do the Right Thing. Maybe not. I thought that was one of the ones that, or not Do the Right Thing. She's Gotta Have It, which, those are brilliant films. What else here? Rami Malek reacts. He's got a Best Actor nomination for, I don't even know what the name of the movie is. The Queen movie. What's the name of the Queen movie? Well, whatever the name of that movie is, I can't remember. But good for him. I think, man, the only thing I haven't seen that movie, and I really like to. But I saw him they showed a clip of him doing the Live Aid version of Video Gaga and showing actual footage of Freddie Mercury on one side and him on the other side. And man, he just nailed that. It was amazing how well he did that. It was a lot of fun. What else here? School teacher Yalitza Arpeggio earns Best Actress nomination as Roma leads with 10 nods. So apparently Roma has gotten many nods. Never heard of the movie, but it's got 10 nominations. What else here? Tears for Ethan. Biggest congrats to Paul Schrader and for God's Plan. What else? More Yalitza Arpeggio. She's a Native American, or first Latina first Latina to be nominated for Best Actress in 14 years. Well, of course, we're going to have... they don't want us to have anyone saying Oscar's so white, even though, all the producers will probably be white. Anyway, congrats to Lady Gaga on her award nomination for Best Actress for Star is Born. 21 great movies. Then there's IndieWire's 21 great movies completely rejected by the Oscars in 2019. That may be my thing for tomorrow. Oh, Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah, duh. That's the first song I ever heard by Queen. And I remember I heard it on the radio when I was a kid. And the first time I heard it, I'm like, what the hell is this? Because I was really into music as a kid. And I don't mean popular music, but I was learning piano and saxophone, and I sang, and so I really got into music that had a lot of stuff going on to it. So I like, I loved Earth, Wind and Fire. I really kind of dug Rush because they had really intricate stuff in it. I loved bands with horns, Blood, Sweat and Tears, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Commodores. But I heard Bohemian Rhapsody, and there was this just mishmash of all this styles in it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And the song just kept going and going and going and going. And, because they said they never play on the radio. It was like 8 minutes long or whatever it is. I just loved that. I thought that was cool. And believe it or not, I kind of enjoyed Queen when I was a kid. You didn't think a black guy was being a Queen, but I really liked them. Let's see. Lupita Nyong'o. Oh, yeah. Just more Black Panther. It looks like they're talking about Black Panther, Lady Gaga. There's a bunch of films that... Black Panther, yeah. It's all about Black... You know what? Everything's about Black Panther and Yalitza. Let's see. Actual picture of me reading the Oscar nominations. Well, Lauren Duca's not happy, but I don't care because she's a insufferable twit of a human being. I can't stand her. All right, what else? Let's go. Oh, I got to get out of here. Hey, tell you what. Roma, that's the same. That's that Lisa gal. Tuesday Thoughts, don't care. What else is Bradley Cooper? Everything's about the Oscars pretty much. But I'm telling you right now, keep your eyes peeled today. I guarantee you're going to hear people bitching about the court. They're going to be bitching about Brett Kavanaugh. They're going to be bitching about Donald Trump today. It's going to be all over the place as this news about the Supreme Court allowing the transgender military ban to go into effect while it is being litigated. But that's it. My time is really up. I got to get out of here. So let's just say thank you, everyone in the chat. Johnny, Old Grouchy Gamer, Della Hayes. Who else is in here still? Alan Sawyer, Tarkata. Sean, DW. Who are you? Hey, I am so glad to see you here. I haven't seen you here yet. That's so I got a couple new people. And Alan Sawyer. If I missed anybody, just put your name in there somewhere. And I really appreciate you being here. I am here Monday through Friday, approximately 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. Although because we're a one-car family temporarily, it may be more around 9:30 or so. But I am here Monday through Friday in the morning. If you follow me on Twitter at Dawg Knight, let me put that up for you so that you can find me. I'll put it in the I'll put it in the chat real quick so you could click that. And if you follow me on Twitter, I do notify you when I'm actually going live on Twitter. And there we go. There's that. And somebody who uses Central Standard. Okay, so that would be more like 10 o'clock Eastern for those of you who don't know the different time zones. So there's my Twitter handle. I usually tweet out about when I'm going to go live. Also, if you would be so kind as to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you would share this video with people. Down there right below my bright shining face, just to the right of where you're looking at me, if you're on a computer, or it's probably down there, the same thing on a phone. Hit that share button and share this stream with your social media following. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I hope you had fun today, even though I almost blew an eyeball out from the aneurysm I almost had reading about the Covington kids. But thank you very much. I really appreciate you. My name is Dawg Knight, and I am out of here.